Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional custodians of the land on which we meet tonight and pay my respects to the elders past and present. My name is Marta Is, and I'm a final year student at Trobe in Melbourne. I arrived in Australia as a refugee in 2005 with my family. There were 9 of us: Mum, Dad, and my 6 siblings. We belong to the Amhara-Beleke ethnicity in Ethiopia. My parents fled Ethiopia due to civil conflict and fear of persecution. For many years, my people have been denied their right to their land and subject to systematic genocide by a government who has been in power longer than I was born. This meant that I was born in a United States resettlement camp in Amrakuba, which is in the border of Sudan and Ethiopia. These are the big camps you might have seen on TV, crowded with tents, similar to your average camping tent. People in these camps are all in similar situation to my family, all waiting to be resettled in a new country. But this is an incredibly long process. In fact, I know people who have spent over 15 years in these camps. Families are often shifted between camps for various reasons, such as capacity of the camps and for your visa application process, depending on the stage of your application. If you were, for example, in the medical examination stage, you were normally taken to the nearest capital city for your examination, as there were no hospitals or doctors in these camps, and my family was not immune to this. When I was 7 years old, we were moved to a new camp in Abrakom. Abrakom was a desert. There was no access to clean water, and only a small Sudanese villagers resided here. Upon our arrival, we were given a tent and some food, which consisted of a sack of lentils and flour. We didn't know how long we would be staying in these camps. It was a depressing place, and everyone just waited, hoping for a new visa to a new country. To this day, some of the families I met in these camps still remain there. The weather in the camps was extreme. During winter, everything floods, spoiling our food, rations, which was supposed to last for a month. And during heavy winds, our so-called home, the tent, would collapse or get damaged. We had to drink dirty water from the river because there was no clean water available. Tragically, we lost many people from drinking this contaminated water, including my little sister. He was 2 years old at the time. My parents had named her Sunshine because they knew that one day our futures would be bright. I never forget that my sister never got to enjoy this and see the sunshine. After a few years in these camps, we were moved to Khartoum, which is the capital city of Sudan, to finalize our visa process. This was the first time I saw high-rising buildings and lights, things I could have never imagined. Everything looked amazing. But I also saw discrimination. We were treated as outcasts during this time. Finalizing our visa process ultimately took 1 year, all whilst my entire family of 9 stayed in a 1-bedroom house. But the most important thing is that we eventually got our visa and we arrived in Australia. Arriving in Australia, I didn't know what to expect. Up until this point, I had not received any formal education. I couldn't name a single letter in the English alphabet or count to 5. This was the first real opportunity to make something of my life. I was excited at the prospect of school and learning English. I spent a short time at an intensive English school and then was placed in grade 6 in Sunshine Heights Primary School in Melbourne. Sunshine is in the Melbourne West and has been home to many immigrants and refugees since World War II. First, the Europeans, later the Vietnamese, and more recently, people from Africa. For most students, grade 6 is a fun time. You're the big kids at school and getting ready for high school. Not for me. I was pushed to my limits and finished the year doubting my abilities. My English was not anywhere as good as other students, and this impacted my other classes. But I was determined, and I persisted. This determination paid off. When I was in year 9, I secured my first job with McDonald's, where I learned the basics of teamwork and communicating with people from diverse backgrounds. Fast forward 6 years, from grade 6 to 2012, I was the first member of my family to complete year 12 with great marks, and I enrolled in university after receiving my first preference offer. I am now in my final year of my double degree in law and economics. I joined CareerSeekers last year because I knew how important it was to get practical experience relevant to my studies, but I didn't know who to turn to for this. I heard about CareerSeekers from the program coordinator of my university refugee program, where I occasionally volunteer and present in the university support programs. I was aligned to an internship at Macquarie last summer in the banking and financial services legal team. I was very excited about this opportunity, but this also presented a challenge for me. It was a Sydney-based internship, and my parents were protective and concerned about letting me come to Sydney on my own for the first time. I could understand this, because my parents had spent their whole life protecting us from harm and sacrificed everything to give us a new beginning and bring us here. Fortunately, my skills from law school paid off, and eventually they agreed to let me come to Sydney to do my internship. I absolutely loved my summer internship with Macquarie. It has helped me to get the practical experience I needed and allowed me to develop my legal skills further, whilst boosting my confidence. During my internship, as well as meeting some amazing and experienced people, I also got to do some great work. I have prepared legal advice, been involved in key transactional deals, litigation, and drafting of terms and conditions for new products and services. I've been lucky enough to be asked back over the winter to continue my internship with Macquarie. My last day will be tomorrow. I want to take this opportunity to thank Macquarie, our director David Trobe, my manager Lee Palmer, who's sitting among you, and my buddy Thashara, and the whole BFS legal team for making my internship such a great experience and making me feel part of the team. I also want to thank the team at CareerSeekers for believing in me and giving me this opportunity to share my story tonight. I will graduate at the end of the year and hope to enter the corporate world. And because of this opportunity, I know my dreams will come true. Thank you.